Long before the conquistadors set foot on the New World, people of Akakar lived under the guidance of the Great Healer, a leader who communed with the spirits of the forest and the stars. The Great Healer foresaw the coming of strangers from across the street, bearing weapons of fire and thunder. To protect their people, the Great Healer commanded the construction of a labyrinthine city with walls that mirrored the serpentine rivers and the temples that reached for the heavens. The city was a marvel, a testament to the ingenuity and spirit of the Echocorians. But the Great Healer's visions grew darker. They saw the destruction of their world, the forest burning, the rivers running red, and a bid to preserve their knowledge. In a bid to preserve their knowledge, the Akakorians created the Chronicles, a series of codices containing the wisdom of their civilization. From the medicinal properties of plants to the alignment of the stars. When the strangers finally arrived, they found not a city of gold, but a ghost town. The Akakorians had vanished, leaving behind only the cryptic chronicles as a testament to their existence. The strangers, driven by greed and fear, destroyed much of what was left. The location of Akakar was lost to time. Centuries passed, and the legend of Akakor grew. Explorers and treasure hunters scoured the Amazon, searching for the fabled city and its hidden knowledge. Some claimed to have found it, only to disappear without a trace, swallowed by the jungle's embrace. Today, the chronicles of Akakar remain a beacon for the adventurous, a surreal call to those who seek the mysteries of the past. They whisper of a time when humans lived as one with the earth, and they hold the key to forgotten wisdom that could change the world. But Akakar is more than a place. It is a symbol of the eternal search for understanding, a reminder that some secrets are meant to be kept, and that the true treasure lies not in gold, but in the journey itself. In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, there's a trail shrouded in mist and legend. They say it's haunted by the lantern of lost souls, a mysterious light that guides the wayward spirit of miners who perished in a forgotten disaster deep within the earth. Long ago, a miner named Old Tom was known for his uncanny ability to sense danger in the tunnels. One fateful day, he warned his fellow workers of an impending collapse, but his pleas were ignored by the greedy mine owner. As predicted, the mine caved in, trapping many souls within its dark embrace. Old Tom survived, but guilt gnawed at his heart. Every night, he ventured into the mountains, carrying a lantern, searching for a way to free the spirits of his fallen friends. He never returned from his final journey, and some say he became one of the ghosts he sought to save. Hikers report seeing a ghostly light bobbing through the trees, accompanied by the faint sound of pickaxes against the stone. It's Old Tom, they whispered, still trying to lead the miners to salvation. One night, a brave soul named Eli, intrigued by the tales, decided to follow the lantern. As he walked, the forest grew silent, and the air turned cold. The light led him to the entrance of the old mine, now nothing more than a gaping maw in in the mountainside. Eli felt a chill as he heard a voice, as brittle as dried leaves. "Help us find peace." He realized then that the lantern wasn't just a beacon, it was a plea from the beyond. Summoning all of his courage, Eli stepped into the darkness, the lantern's glow his only companion. Hours passed, and just as dawn's first light began to pierce the night, the lantern flickered out, leaving Eli in pitch darkness. But he wasn't alone. He could feel the presence of the miners, their gratitude palpable in the still air. With a deep breath, Eli promised to tell their stories, to ensure they would never be forgotten. As he emerged from the mine, the sun broke over the horizon, and the spirits, at long last, found their rest. The lantern of lost souls was never seen again, but the legend lives on, a reminder of the bonds of brotherhood and the quest for redemption. The legend of La Llorona. For centuries, children have been taught to fear the water, from the Japanese kappa demon, with its hunger for cucumbers and human organs, to the hideous frogmen of Slavic folklore, known locally as the Vadyanoi. Danger has always lurked for any child who dared venture too close to the water's edge. In Latin America, the same can be said, and there are a few who take these warnings to heart as closely as those who've heard the tale of La Llorona, the weeping woman. For centuries, the name has instilled fear, whispered in the darkest corners of the forest and lingering on the lips of children who have been warned time and time again what happens to those who are naughty or wander too far from the safety of home, where the ghost of La Llorona waits. Believe it or not, this is no simple fairy tale, no campfire story. What makes La Llorona different from the others is that she wasn't some mythical creature born of the imagination of man. She was a person, a wife, a daughter, a mother of two, a flesh and bone woman a flesh and bone woman with hopes and dreams, and a family she loved, not unlike the devoted parents who have come to fear her. Simply, she was one of us until she wasn't. What turned La Llorona from just another face in the crowd to the subject of many of our nightmares was one simple act, a deed so tragic that it is unforgettable, so heinous that it is unforgivable. The cruel, heartless murder of her own very own children, the most heinous of crimes, the ultimate sin. It so happens that the father, her one true love, had abandoned her for another woman, breaking her heart and fracturing her mind, making her an outcast in her own community. Racked with the agony of his affair, she became bent on revenge, paying him back in the most horrific way imaginable, leading their children down to the water and drowning them both, one after the other. A true selfish act for La Llorona, but it did come with one consequence. But it did come with one consolation. So disgusted at the sight of what she had done, she decided to follow right after them, taking her own life in those very same waters. An easy way out, for certain, but the only way for her to avoid the shattered reality she had created, and wrap up this horrible tale of love and loss and a mother's betrayal. If only this story were that simple. The truth is, she never left. Denied from heaven and bound to purgatory, La Llorona still haunts our mortal realm, a divine punishment for the lives she took. Her spirit, trapped for eternity, now roams the waterways, crying, wailing, searching desperately for her lost children, or any other unfortunate souls who might tempt fate and happen across her path. Sometimes she can only be heard, her wails so hopeless, so shrill, that they are mistaken for the cries of a lost or endangered child, luring unsuspecting victims into her waiting arms. But more often than not, she is seen at night, dressed all in white, with long black hair falling over her face, standing at the forest edge. She beckons to lone children, making false promises, luring them past the tree line and towards the water, replaying her sins over and over for the rest of time. While the story has evolved since the day La Llorona took her life and those of her children, one fact remains the same. Those unfortunate enough to hear the cries of the weeping woman rarely live to tell the tale. Their bodies either found floating in the waterways, drowned, or never seen again. The legend of the Arkansas folk monster of Boggy Creek dates back to the 1800s, and it is an integral part of the local folklore. The monster is described as 7 to 8 feet tall. Like a primate or human, it stands on 2 legs, and its entire body is apparently covered with thick, long hair. It is also cumbersome and said to be over 300 pounds. There are many legends about folk monsters' behaviors. One that is more alarming to farm owners and pet owners is related to its diet. The monster has been known to feed on live dogs and chickens. It has also been said that it occasionally eats a hog or calf. The Arkansas folk monster is undoubtedly not a thing of the past, as there have been many reports of its sighting in recent times. Even today, residents and visitors to Arkansas sometimes see what they believe is this monster. In a land far away, nestled between the peaks of the forgotten mountains, there was a cave known only to the bravest of souls. It was said that the cave held a secret power, a crystal that shone with the light of 1,000 stars. Many had tried to claim the crystal, drawn by tales of its magic, but none had returned. The path was treacherous, guarded by riddles and traps laid by an ancient civilization lost in time. One day a young adventurer named Elion decided to seek out the crystal. Armed with nothing but his wits and a heart full of courage, he set out on a journey that would become legend. Elion faced challenges that tested his spirit. He crossed the bridge of echoes, where one's true intentions were revealed in whispers. He navigated the labyrinth of shadows, where light and dark danced in a silent ballet. Finally, he reached the heart of the cave, where the crystal awaited. But it was not the crystal that was the true treasure. It was the wisdom Elion gained along the way. The crystal's glow was a reflection of one's inner light, a beacon for those who sought knowledge over riches. Elion emerged from the cave not with a physical treasure, but with a newfound understanding of the world and himself. And so the legend of the Crystal Cave lived on, a reminder that the greatest treasures are often found within. As the embers died down and the lights wraps up in its embrace, remember Elion's journey and know that within you shines a light just as bright as any crystal from the tales of old. Sleep well, for tomorrow is another adventure awaiting to be written in the stars.